Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hello Bubbles and Honey, I'm glad to hear stream went well. I wish you luck with your next stream tonight. It's always fun to find new life sim players, especially with a new life sim game like Enjoy being out. It's fun to see the community growing. We definitely killed a man. We definitely killed a man earlier in our Enjoy playthrough, but it'll be fine, I'm sure. There's not too many consequences for killing a Zoe yet. So how much damage could it really be? Also, yeah, the only thing about this headset is it dies very frequently. Like 2 hours on a bad day, 5 hours at most on a good day, because of the light up features, but they're just, I like that they light up, I really do. I've looked at just normal cat ear, like things to clip onto my other, like nicer headset, but it doesn't hit the same. But yeah, I always complain about this headset because it dies and the audio quality can get crackly, but it just looks the best. I feel I really like it. I had one before this that was the same but purple that only lasted a couple years, and then I bought the pink one to replace it. A town similar to Gotham? Oh my god, no way. When I saw the karma system and how much you can affect city values, my first thought, we haven't done it in our playthrough, but my first thought was like, so you can basically make Gotham then, you can make it just like this horrible karma, just bad city, and maybe you can have one Zoe be like the Batman of the area. But yeah, we haven't technically done any challenges yet in Enjoy. We're just kind of feeling around with stuff, but I am very tempted to start up an Enjoy challenge. I actually don't usually stream a lot in the mornings because I'm more of a night person and I'm working full time again, so it's like I have to get up early to squeeze a stream in, but we've been getting up early for like the past few Nintendo Directs that have been happening. I'm a big Nintendo fan, and I've really been enjoying like I'm very sleepy during the streams, but it does give me a little pep in my step to start the day. So I am thinking about doing some more Enjoy and life sim streams just on the channel more, and then doing those as like morning streams. I have to think what day of the week would work best, but I feel like I could maybe get myself up once or twice a week earlier in the morning. Rags to riches with Barbie Legacy? That sounds fun as hell. And yeah, I want to get the Switch. I really want to get the Switch too. I'm in the Nintendo Online, like, the pre-order thing that's supposed to like have slots open in May is when they'll let you know if you got in or not, and what your priority in the queue is. So I have very high playtime on my Switch, so I'm hoping to get it. Live in America and pre-orders have been paused indefinitely due to all the tariffs and stuff, and I'm like, oh god, we still technically have time. They said they're not gonna push back the actual release date of the Switch 2, but the time window is getting smaller day by day, so yeah, to every other country that was able to like pre-order theirs, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. But yeah, hopefully I want to get that, and I want to get the Mario Kart bundle because I'm a huge Mario Kart fan, so I'm very excited for the new Mario Kart game. Favorite Nintendo game? That's a tricky one. I think if I had to pick one, it might be Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda. I have like a favorite of each type of Zelda genre. A lot of people pick one type of Zelda game and then they hate on all the others, but my top 3 is like Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, and Wind Waker. But out of that 3, Wind Waker is just kind of just the adventure on the Great Sea and how like cel shaded and animated it all is, while having one of the darker stories. It has like the cutest art style but the darkest story in the Zelda universe. So definitely love that one. Yeah, I know that the new Mario Kart is supposed to add 24 people. I gotta see how the online stuff works. I would love to at some point, like for like a special event stream or something at the end of the year, do maybe like a like big community Mario Kart thing or not. I'd have to figure out how to set that up, but I feel like that would be a really fun group activity to stream. But yeah, that's my favorite. I'm also a big fan of the Wii U and 3DS eras. I grew up on the DS and Wii eras, and like one of my first consoles was a GameCube, so I am cultured and old enough. I've grown up with all the Nintendo systems. But there was something that just, I think it was that the 3DS and the Wii U were like so hated and like underperforming, but they were very special to me. So that's actually our stream tonight. So we do these little game dev streams every try to do them on a weekly basis, because I used to do them on like a month and every couple months basis, and they ended up, I'm a level designer professionally in the industry, but I ended up like getting so burnt out at work and then not having like the creative energy afterwards, and I wasn't spending it and furthering my skills outside of my job. So I've been trying to keep up with these like at least a few a month, just doing fun side project stuff on stream. Obviously none of my professional none of my actual job work stuff. That would be very NDA, but yeah, I like just kind of goofing around and doing some sandbox stuff here on stream. And right now we're currently working on remaking some arenas from Kid Icarus Uprising, because that's one of my favorite 3DS games, and I was really hoping I was like full blown delusional at the Switch 2 Direct that because they had the mouse feature on the Switch 2, I was like, they're gonna announce a Kid Icarus remake, like it's gonna happen this time for real, and they didn't. So I've kind of just decided I was just gonna remake an arena or two, but I think I'm gonna keep working on this Kid Icarus project on my own time and just doing small baby steps, but I'm gonna keep working on it until Kid Icarus is on the Switch 2. So who knows, maybe we will actually remake the game one day, but at the moment we're just doing a couple of arenas here. We've done the Blockout is my favorite stage, so when it looks all ugly and it's just like cubes and untextured things, that's where I really like to do, because I'm not really an artist, I'm not really a programmer, I'm just the one that pulls the strings and sews it all together. But I really like the shape language when it's just like the bones of a level. So we're currently bringing a few arenas up to that point and then kind of putting them on pause. Exactly, level designers are the glue, because you get to do the layout and sometimes you get to do the actual full concept, and that's kind of your thing, but otherwise, like, depending on how big a team is, you've got the mission designers coming to you for stuff, you've got the artists coming to you for stuff, you've got the programmers giving you stuff, so everyone's giving you these little things, and you're the one that's like actually getting it to all stick together and make sure it works at the end of the day. Level designer's work is never done. But yeah, I do have some released professional work out there. Currently I'm at a company called Affray, working on an SCP title, so it's very spooky and stuff. I worked on a little like spooky research area, and then the final, I got to work on like the final combat for the last update, so that was pretty cool. If anyone's into like any tactical shooters or whatnot, or spooky stuff, then that's been an interesting change of pace, because my first AAA title was gameplay wise a bit similar. It was still a first person shooter, but it was on Wonderlands, which is a very fantasy and very sparkly, still violent but very sparkly and funny, just like outright humor instead of dark humor type of title. So a lot of fun, and then a lot of unannounced stuff in between these two. And then going on, the games industry has been a bit of a mess, so I was on like the unemployment layoff line for a lot of the time last year, but I was able to use that time to do like portfolio pieces and actually pick up streaming. I've been streaming for 5? 6? Is it 6 years now? I think it was 6 years this year. Oh damn, I'm old. But yeah, I've been streaming for ever since I was in college, but or my pumpkin patch level. Yeah, this was like a portfolio piece we did while I was laid off last year. But yeah, it gave me time to like put back into the channel, and now even though I'm full-time again in the industry, I still don't want to ramp down on any streaming stuff, because I think streaming really is a passion of mine. Even on like quieter days or like silent streams, I'm like, you know what, we're still having fun. We're still pumping out content. Yeah, I hope you have a great stream, Bubbles. It's great meeting you. I can't wait to tune into more of your Inzoi streams and get inspired by all the challenges you're doing. But yeah, we'll get into our... I do need to add whatever... I don't think we're gonna start our third concept and block out work for an arena yet. I do have to figure out which one we're gonna do next and gather the reference images for that, but I think for now we're just going to work on, over the next month of game dev streams, we are going to try to take Forgotten City and Spiral Tower, not to fully finish, because the cat lamp might have died. Oh my gosh, cat lamp died. No. Let me plug something into its butt. See if I can oh, this is the wrong cord. He still gets a smack. He still gets a smack. An X. He's fine. He's fine back there. But yeah, I think our plan with our game dev weeklies is to bring these up to a kind of good overall first pass. So I want to do a little bit more like lighting and a little bit more set dressing with our Forgotten City map that's technically gone through the rough textures thing. So as a level designer, this is where I go, that's good enough for me, and pass it off to an artist. This is a solo project, so now I have to figure out, okay, how do we make it prettier from here? So we do have some foliage we can place, we have some set dressing we can do, we have some like trees we can place, and we have some lighting work we can do. So I'm not expecting it to be super good quality, because again, the original's on the 3DS, but like they have stuff like God rays, and they have a variety of wall textures from floor textures, so I think there's things we could do to be inspired by that. So we are going to revisit this in the next month and make it a bit prettier, and then what we have left to do on Spiral Tower is tonight we're just going to do a quick like 1 to 2 hour stream, probably more like an hour now remaining, but we're going to just be placing rocks. I know it's thrilling, but the purpose of this is there's not a lot of cover in this map because Kid Icarus's battle mode is definitely has a lot of range stuff, but it's also heavily melee and close range things. Unless you specifically have a few long range weapons in which you're given a few points, you're also made very vulnerable to balance that out. Otherwise, that's why it's so open in these screenshots, is because it's mostly you running up and punching people most of the time in my experience. But yeah, the template we're using, the Lyra template, is a lot more fast-paced and is like barely any melee. It's all like getting headshot across the map by highly powerful guns and stuff. So we need to adapt this to fit a more modern not FPS, but a more modern deathmatch mode than the Kid Icarus mode. So we need to add some additional cover, and since this is all terrain based anyway, we have like a few rock assets that I just want to scale up and place. We'll replace them or make them prettier in the upcoming like set dressing and art passes we do in the next month, but I really want to get the actual flow and the layout of the level and what changes we want to do, because we've blocked it out pretty much as close as I want to get to the original game, so now we're going to spend tonight doing any last revisions and alterations from the game. Also, I don't know why, but when we did the top down, it looks like Yoshi for some reason. I don't know if I just really messed up the paper design or if a Nintendo employee took inspiration intentionally. I guess this doesn't really look like Yoshi from this top down. So I think it was just the way I color coded it. But yeah, as you can see, I've placed one rock already. This is the rock I'm considering. We've got like 5, they're technically small rock assets, so we can use this as like, when it's way more scaled down, you can add it into like the foliage brush, and we can use this as a lot of like stray debris. But we scaling up today. We scaling up and doing stuff like a simple landscape pass won't fix all of the issues here. Like this will appear, you can kind of see where it's tearing in the landscape. This will appear a bit warped and stuff by default in the landscape tool. There's stuff we can do to change and alter that, of course, but a good solution for like not wanting to go through, again, I'm not an artist, I'm a designer, so a good like solution to like fix that up more reliably and a bit more ease of mind, in my opinion, is just like lining up meshes against that and making it like rocks jutting out of the terrain. Because if you're on like a hike or something and you see like a slope of dirt to the side, there's usually a lot of rocks and like branches and stuff sticking out of it, and there's like a texture there. It's not completely smooth and stuff like that. So we'll give it a little bit of texture here. But yeah, this will be, usually I like to keep these game dev streams recently. If it's on a weekend, I like to do like a full 4 to 5 hours. I do want to do a weekend game dev stream at some point this spring or this summer. Actually, I just realized I'm placing these in the persistent, which is not where they should go. Actually, do I make a new sub-level for this? I'm gonna put these in... Actually, no, I don't. We'll do a passive putting rocks in cover revisions. For now, I'm gonna put them in block out, though. So we need to add you to the correct level. But yeah, I found just like, again, my day job is putting in I've been putting in I've been working late this week also. This is like the first night I haven't worked late. So when you're working on level, I love level design, but when you're working on it like for 8, 10 plus hours a day and then to immediately jump back into it for personal work, sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I'm lazy and I'm like, I can't do it right now. And I just go back and watch Netflix or sleep. Sleep's been a good option too recently. But yeah, I want to keep up with this on stream in a healthy way. So I don't want to go too far the way I did at my previous job where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take off and make game dev stuff just like once or every 2 months or something. I don't want to be that extreme. But I also still very much do not want to burn myself out. I want this to be a way for me to de-stress and just to yap about game design. I also think these are just like little bite-sized videos. They're easier to put on in the background. It's easier to be like, oh, this hit me a lot in like college especially, being like, oh, well, I don't think I can get 100% of this task done in a day, so I'm not gonna start it at all. But like these little 2-hour streams are just like, you get what you can get done in a short amount of time, and that will help you greatly the next day. A bunch of days of small progress sometimes is more significant than like one day of a bunch of progress, but you weren't fully there mentally, right? And again, we did do our morning stream this morning too, so I'm actually like, I was obviously very like out of it during actually reacting to Mario Kart because my tummy hurty. So if my reaction seemed a little lackluster, I'm thrilled. I was just like very much like, I was very much sitting there like, they announced that Balloon Battle's returning. I should have been like, that should have been a Smash reveal level scream from me, but if you watch the VOD, I'm sitting there like looking disappointed as hell. It's because I didn't even hear them announce that. I was like spacing out, and in my mind I'm like, am I gonna throw up? I don't wanna throw up. And I like missed that, the mode I never shut up about in Mario Kart, like older Mario Kart games. It's in 8 Deluxe and they fixed it from Mario Kart 8. I'll forever be grateful for that, but I don't think they're gonna do too much with it here. I think the mode they're focusing on is the open world and the knockout tour, which I think is the smart move. I think battle mode is unfortunately kinda dying out. That's what I'm looking forward. I think they're gonna fill that void with Kirby Air Ride though. I think that'll scratch that itch. But yeah, if you are craving more Emily Cookie Dough content, this is actually the perfect weekend. If you're subscribed to the channel, right now there is a highlight reel of our first 17 hours in Elden Ring. AKA our first 3 months of playing Elden Ring. We've been just playing it like once or twice a month, so that we're still a variety channel, and I don't become a rage channel. If I only streamed Elden Ring, I fear that would be what happens to me. So that for my sanity, we're only playing it once or twice a month. So that highlight video is up for subscribers on Twitch right now. It is also going to be available to everyone on Twitch on Saturday, and it will be going up on Easter Sunday here on YouTube. But yeah, I want to try my hand at doing more like end of playthrough or like highlight videos throughout the year, not just the like anniversary ones. I want to try using a different rock, breaking it up a bit. Oh wait, that's the foliage. What am I doing? I'm silly. Okay, this is a longer rock. But yeah, I want to try my hand at doing that, and then I'm also hoping to start doing like very short video essay like videos. The first one's going to be about game tutorials, and I'm actually trimming it down right now because originally I had a longer script, but I was like, well, I can talk fast, there's not gonna be a lot of pauses, and yeah, like a 20 to half an hour minute video doesn't sound that bad. And then when I was like trying to test out recording stuff, I remembered I don't know why, because I don't have a problem talking right now on stream, even though in my mind I'm treating this as if it were a YouTube video. But as soon as I sit down to record something and I'm like, this will be a recorded video, the sound of my voice makes me like really nauseous. It's actually why I ended up streaming instead of doing YouTube first. Is I was going to start a YouTube channel right at the start of my sophomore year of college. And yeah, a whole semester passed and I was like, I cannot. I even have some footage that like re-downloaded on my PC off of OneDrive when I got the new PC, and I found the old footage of me like trying to record some stuff and like trying to do like a YouTube playthrough, and then just me like swearing at the end, and I know I had like some anxiety attacks afterwards because I just couldn't stand the sound of my voice. But I did find I'm able to record stuff after streaming. Like, it feels like my voice is warmed up and my personality a bit too. So I'm still planning on getting that out to subscribers on the last day of the month. And then to like everyone else or to everybody on Twitch 6 days after, and then YouTube fully public like a week after. But yeah, I had a bunch of like different games that I was going on a bunch of different tangents about for the first video is going to be about tutorialization in games, and about specifically why I love playing tutorials, but if it's like a lot of reading text, I do really badly with them. And I don't think I'm the only person, hence why I'm making the video. But yeah, I was like thinking of, I almost thought of too many good examples for both like good, bad, and like combinations for these examples. Nah, I think we need to stick with the long rocks here. So yeah, I felt like the script was getting a little bloated and I was starting to get off topic. So I will say the games I'm trying to focus on is, I'm gonna kick it off with Stranger of Paradise, specifically its first demo. Unfortunately, I want to use mostly like my game footage or like footage from like news sources or like trailers or stuff. I don't want to like steal anyone's footage. So I'm trying to be as like original or like source credity as possible. But unfortunately, Stranger of Paradise's demo, like, is unavailable, like the first one now, that the actual full game's out. So I have no way of, like, replaying it and getting that footage, so I think I'm just gonna have to instead of like yapping about it the whole video, I'm just gonna use it in like the intro and use some like trailer and like some like news gaming playthroughs of it to talk about my experience that I had and why I'm making the video. But it won't actually be the focus of the video. The main games I want to focus on are going to be Breath of the Wild's tutorial versus Tears of the Kingdom's tutorial, and then conclude with Elden Ring, because I think Breath of the Wild, I'll probably have like a Nintendo variety section. I know I've been non-stop yapping about Nintendo and the world like hates Nintendo right now. At least the internet it seems does. But I do like them. Or at least at the end of the day, I acknowledge sometimes they make some horrible executive and business decisions, like just terrifyingly bad ones. But I think their devs are always killing it, and they always put, as a game developer, they always put like dev well-being first and like creativity first. And that sounds really nice. That sounds really nice. That's what video games are supposed to be about. That's some of the most fun I've had in my career. So anyway, yeah, I want to have a little Nintendo section, because whenever people are like Nintendo games are for kids, I'm like, nah, this is what I learned in college. Is like they basically perfect, in most of their games, not always, but in most of their games, they've perfected the, this is why I'm making a video, because I just yap and then pause my thoughts as I rotate rocks in the VODs. Sorry, VOD watchers, the video's coming soon. I will articulate my point soon. But yeah, there's a bunch of Nintendo games that have perfected this concept all the way back to like Super Mario Bros. With you don't have to read, you don't have to know the buttons, you don't have to read anything. You can just learn from trial and error in the first level what you need to do and what buttons you need to press. And then I think games like, I definitely want to talk a little bit about Metroid Dread, have also perfected like modern tutorials that are really complex and a lot of information to take in. And they do technically have text telling you that, but it's like it pops up very to the point and at the proper moments, and in ways that you don't forget what you're doing, but also you're gently reminded, instead of being hit with like full-blown manuals you have to read through that pause the experience every time you advance in a game. So I definitely want to have a little like Nintendo design section in there, and then I want to talk about Breath of the Wild as the example of like one of the best minimal tutorials you can have. And I love Tears of the Kingdom. I love Tears of the Kingdom. I do think I like Breath of the Wild a little more, in my opinion. And I think a lot of that was honestly set tone-wise by the tutorial. Because the opening of the game is flawless. Like, if that was the only tutorial, I think I'd feel a lot better about the first few hours of the game. But yeah, the first like 5-10 minutes you spend in Tears of the Kingdom are paced excellently and are very immersive and tell you like all the basics. It's simple enough if you're a new player to understand what's going on, and then it's very familiar to you and just going over the basics again if you are a returning player. But their like actual shrine tutorial area, because Breath of the Wild also has technically a opening tutorial and then the shrine tutorials, I feel like it just gets bogged down with a lot of text, and Breath of the Wild has a much more like not as time pressing, not as time sensitive opening. It's more about, well, yeah, I need to save the world in Zelda, but I need to figure out more about myself 2, and that's at the player's discretion, where Tears of the Kingdom has an opening that feels very time sensitive. All you're thinking during the tutorial is, I want more information, I want to do something. What am I? Why is it doing? Oh, I have snapping on. I have snapping on for scaling, but nothing else. That's why it felt weird. Turn it this way. But yeah, I don't want to overhype Breath of the Wild, and I don't want to like overshit on Tears of the Kingdom in the video, so I'm trying to like trim the script more and like carefully. I'm even gonna have a Zelda disclaimer and say I like all genres of Zelda. Please do not kill me, because I am a bit nervous to mention Zelda on YouTube in 2025 on the internet and make a video essay. Then both praising and critiquing it. I don't know which is considered a bigger sin on YouTube. So I'm a little scared, but I'm just gonna throw a disclaimer: do not get mad at me because I like video games. But I can also critique them. Like, please Lord, do not get mad at me. And hopefully that'll be alright. But yeah, those are like the, what I want to use to define like what I consider good and bad in tutorials and the differences. And then I want to talk about the blend of it with Elden Ring. So that will be the merger of, I think Elden Ring has both some of like the most confusing, like it falls victim to, it kind of is the definition of just a lot of text that's very overwhelming to a new player that I'm never going to understand, and can be very frustrating, but also simultaneously it's open world tutorial. Like, when I talk about Elden Ring in this tutorial video, I'm actually barely gonna mention, like, when people think of Elden Ring's tutorial, they're like, oh, you can accidentally miss it because they don't tell you to go down there. You have to jump out of your way to do the tutorial. Is that good or bad design? I'm not even gonna really touch on that topic. I'm gonna touch on, like, the item tutorialization and, like, how I learned how to navigate the world on my own. Compared to the pros and cons of like the open world Zeldas. Only thing is, I know it's kind of focused on like difficult combat and like open world tutorials specifically. There's a lot of more extreme pros and more extreme cons with indie games. Indie games, you either have like no tutorial, a really confusing tutorial, or someone will cook and make the most flawless tutorial you've ever seen. Like, those are the only options. And I say this as someone like in indie games and someone that's done indie games before. Like, tutorials are a very hard thing to do in game dev. But when you cook just right, it can give someone a perfect experience. So I'm excited. But I had a lot of indie games that I wanted to talk about that I'm actually saving for a part 2 video. The following month we're going to do a video on what? We're gonna do a video on storytelling through gameplay and instead of through text. So very similar to the tutorial stuff, but it'll focus more on indie titles. The ones that I have in mind for that are like Hades 1 and 2. I feel like I have to mention Undertale. That might be like the opening, like, intro to the video. I feel like it's mandatory to mention Undertale for that. And then I want to hype up Stray as well, because Stray was an excellent game. And I think opinions on it have settled back down to, yeah, that was a pretty good game, but I remember when it was up for, like, Indie of the Year, a lot of people were, like, people were either upset that it wasn't a cozy cat game, or they were upset that it wasn't like a Dark Souls level of adventure game. But it was never meant to be either. It was always meant to be an in-between flawed experience that was focused on the storytelling of it. So I think it delivered on that. But yeah, I'm a big defender for Stray. And I think storytelling via gameplay would be a really good way to work that into a video. Especially, I think the chase sequences in Stray are what I want to focus on for a chunk of that video. That's like what I think of when I think of the video topic I want to do next. And then we have some others that folks voted on in the Discord that I will certainly be doing as well. Right, already these are helping define the edges a lot better. Because otherwise, like, even if we do some terrain painting, which we're definitely gonna get to, but, yeah, otherwise it's hard to define the edges sometimes with landscape things. It's like, oh, well, there is verticality, but it's hard to tell where, if it's all the same, like, material. So adding, like, actual meshes around the edges are a good way to help break that up. If you're a fan of Elden Ring, I will be talking about it in another video, and we are actually going to be doing our next 2 Elden Ring streams this weekend. I have the day off of work tomorrow. We kind of, my new place is nice in that we kind of get like a holiday month off a month. So this month it's Good Friday, so there's no better way to spend it than an Elden Ring stream. I won't be up like bright and early. I could get up and start at the same time I start work and do like a full 8-hour work day's worth of it. But I do need to like run out and do some chores, and I do want to like wash my hair in the morning. So as such, I'm like, we'll probably start around like noon or 1 my time, and I'll just like sleep in a little. I might sleep in even when my partner clocks in for work. I might just sleep in a little longer because I've been very low on sleep. So I may take an extra hour or 2 from my beauty rest and dream of Moo Moo Meadows, but whenever I'm back tomorrow, I mean, I just have to run to the vet, which is 10 minutes away, the grocery store, which is like 2 minutes away, and then I'm probably gonna get a coffee, either at like the Starbucks by the grocery store or at the Dunkin' by the vet, both of which are like a 30-second detour. In terms of traffic, in terms of the line, who knows, but but I need coffee. I'm actually going to the store for K-cups also, but to conserve K-cups, I'm like, well, I have to get a coffee separate from the rest of my coffee. Does that make sense? Does the girl logic on that check out? That if I go to the grocery store to get coffee, like coffee pods, but I don't want to like use them up yet, I want to stretch out and maximize their use. It makes sense I should pick up a fresh coffee after the store so that I don't break into that stash right away. I think that makes sense to me. I don't want to have my coffee, so I'll just get coffee instead. Actually, I might just get a tea, maybe. I know I said I would start level grinding, and I technically got 2 or 3 levels more from last stream, but that was it. I think I played like maybe an extra hour of Elden Ring between streams, because yeah, I've either been busy with RD and work, or I've been busy with getting the video stuff for the channel all sorted out. So what I mean to say is, we're not, I think I ended last Elden Ring stream saying like, don't worry, we're gonna be super buff by the time we get back here next. I might have lied to you guys. I might have told a small white lie to you all, and I'm sorry if that's the case. I could have technically not game dev tonight and just like level grinded. I had several opportunities to do so today, actually. I could have level grinded. I could have hopped off work early since I worked so much this week already. I could have hopped off work early and played Elden Ring. I could have played Elden Ring during dinner. I could have not streamed and prepped an Elden Ring instead, and I could still play it later. But here's what I was doing. I decided to work the full shifts anyway. Then I got my boyfriend into Singles Inferno on Netflix. The first episode ends with such a cliffhanger. We're hooked. It's a rewatch of me for the first season, but I kind of want to see the other seasons because I forgot how good the show was. So that's what we did then. I'm streaming right now for reason number 3, and then we've been playing Split Fiction recently. So I'm probably gonna play that, and then I'm gonna go to bed after that for reason 4. So the plan for Elden Ring is we're probably gonna have to spend both streams this weekend just focused on level grinding. Honestly, I think we spent pretty much March's stream just exploring, and we traveled across like half of the map. It was insane. So we did a lot of exploration, but we didn't do like any boss fights really. We did level up a little bit, and we did get some nice like new armor and stuff, but otherwise, yeah, in terms of like bosses, we didn't do a lot at all last stream. If any, I don't think we really tackled or won any boss fights. So I think we need to spend probably a full stream tomorrow, and then maybe the first half of stream Saturday focused on just pure level grinding and getting stronger in the earlier areas. And then we're trying to like get into a castle or something, but there's a guard with a health bar. And then behind him is a boss wall, so I have a feeling we're cooked. And that I really should have played more Elden Ring off stream. But if you guys are interested in seeing me fail more, that'll be happening tomorrow for probably a 5-hour stream tomorrow, and then a 5-hour stream on Saturday as well around the same time, the afternoon. But yeah, I will celebrate this more on stream tomorrow since our nighttime streams are pretty quiet. But if you're a nighttime lurker, you may have saw we had a 400 follower goal and we hit it. So happy 400 followers, everybody. But my follower goal this time was to play the new Sonic and Shadow Generations game. So guess what we're gonna add to the calendar? I'm not gonna do it this weekend because we've already reserved this weekend for Elden Ring, and then I will I technically would have some time for a short stream on Sunday, but I kind of just want to, again, it's been a long week and we're doing a lot of streams already, so I kind of just want to recover on Easter and then go get dinner with family. But I think the following weekend we are going to try to play through all of Sonic Generations, both the original game and the new Shadow story that's included. I'd never beat the original Sonic Generations, though I do remember playing it a lot at other people's houses and having like the most interest in that. Because I was more of like a 2D Sonic fan than a 3D one growing up. Not that I hated 3D Sonic, but my dad was a 2D Sonic and 2D Mario gamer. So those are the ones I remember playing the most when I was younger. But yeah, our previous like follower and charity goals for Sonic games have been Sonic 06, Sonic Boom, and Sonic Forces. So I decided to switch it up. I think Generations is typically a lot better liked as one of the better Sonic games. And I've heard the Shadow one is like really good. I think the only issues I see people having is that it is a bit pricey for, I think it's like 10 hours of total content. I think if you like 100% and like want to be good at the game, you can easily sink 100 hours into it. But if you're just playing through for the story like I am going to be, and doing more of a minimalistic approach to get a taste for the game, like I'm going to be, then more around 10 hours. So I think if we were able to do either a really long stream one of those days in the weekends or just 2 good 5-hour streams, I think we'd be able to finish it. That means I'll have the May schedule out, but that means I have pushed Wander Stop back a weekend. That is a little narrative story tea shop and farming sim made by the guy that did Stanley Parable and Beginner's Guide, and I love those games to death. So I've been really wanting to try out Wander Stop for a bit, but I think we're gonna have to push it back a weekend to acknowledge the Sonic in the room. But it should only be pushed back a weekend or 2. I will be out for a weekend in May. We're just trying to figure out which weekend works best. Going and visiting family and such. So once that's solidified, I'll have the May schedule out to you guys in advance, because I think otherwise I'm pretty locked in for what all we're gonna be streaming. But yeah, Sonic Generation, Elden Ring this weekend, Sonic Generations after that, and then Wander Stop after that. And then depending on like where those streams off take place and what the end of May is looking like for me, we are going to, I do have a lot of streams marked in the Twitch schedule right now. I'm very excited for another 3DS game, if you're a fan of those, which you may be if you're in a Kid Icarus related stream here. A big fan of Fantasy Life, so I've been waiting on Fantasy Life I for a while, and I want to do like a full playthrough of that when it comes out at the end of May. So I'm actually planning like to do several streams of that in a row. So we'll even be, I think around that time is when I want to get these 2 arenas in a good stopping point, and then briefly take a break on this project. And we'll take a break to play Fantasy Life and to just have a breather week. And then after that's all good and done, when we start it back up again, I kind of want to do like a one-off of doing like a quick Fortnite creative level to get back into the swing of that. Because I want to do, I want to remake a Fortnite creative map of ours, or at least like fully update it to be a 2.0 version at the end of the year. So to just kind of check in and see how it's doing, I want to like make a still a polished but a quicker turnaround level in like June, July, I think. And then at the end of the summer we'll jump back into this project and finish up the other arenas. But I do think I want to swap between, I like swapping between Unreal Engine 5 and Fortnite Creative and just keeping my skills sharp on both. And I've mentioned before for like these creative streams, I would also be interested in doing like, I used to do pixel art streams, but I don't consider myself good at that. Or really doing it at all anymore, but I'd be potentially down for a pixel art stream one day. But more likely, I would like to learn Blender at some point. I learned Maya in high school, or not high school, in college, but I didn't really, Maya crashes a lot and it infuriates me, so I didn't really vibe with it. But I would like to learn Blender, just to have that skill set. So I'd like to do like the Blender donut tutorial on stream. We tried it like my first year streaming when I was still in college. And like something went wrong with the sprinkles and I just never attempted it again. So I'd like to, now that I'm braver, redo that with modern Blender stuff. And I'd be interested in a video editing stream too. Maybe once I have a few more highlights and videos under my belt. Just to pull up those files and show how I organize stuff. Or if I have like a tight deadline for a video and I'm like, okay, I need to work on editing this here. But yeah, we'll see how the summer plays out schedule-wise as well. Alright, we got some stuff down, so let's go ahead, save that. Display the game. Why is it building shaders? What are you doing? Aw, what are you doing? Why are we compiling shaders? No. Oh, this feels a lot better with the cover pieces we added in last stream. But now it visually looks better too. With the rocks. Oh yeah. Oh, it's coming together now. I see it. I see it. Actually, I might turn down the volume a little. Can I turn the audio in here? Okay, good. Who's shooting? You know, I work on shooters are my like favorite, one of my favorite genres to design for, honestly. You would think I'd be better at them. You would think I would be better at them, but that's not something specific to me. Not to call out any other devs or something. This has happened at like I've heard this from other people in the industry, and then previous company and current company, but you don't have to be good. You don't have to be like top ranked at shooters to make them, or at least to like make a part of them. Probably for if you're someone handling the overall picture or like specific gameplay things, you should probably be a little good at them, have an understanding of it, but like yeah, I don't have to be top placing and like ranking something to be able to make these. I think especially sometimes me being unfamiliar with the genre kind of helps when I'm level designing, because I'm like, I have the perspective of a new player, and that's like the most valuable feedback you can... I threw that off the map. That's the most valuable feedback you can get early on something when it comes to your designs, is like, can a new player understand what the intent of this space is? Because when you're working on a level, and when you're like, even for like playtesters in QA, when you're seeing the same level over and over and over again, you start to become numb to like even the basics of it. So if you bring someone new in and they're like, hey, I really like the level, except I had no idea where to go at the start, that's something you can genuinely miss and become immune to thinking about if you're staring at a level too long. Oh my god, that was clean. That was so clean. What time is it? Got like half an hour left before I'm gonna wrap it up. Oh, these rocks. These are nice rocks. These are good rocks. I think we can put some more into cover revision. Actually, we should replace these little doo-doo looking piles with some more like rocks instead. Oh, we're still losing because I keep dying early. Where are you? Where are you? I don't have the scope for it in the first half of the year here because I'm trying to get so much like video content stuff going. But we're gonna lose. I think something I want to do either after this batch of arenas or maybe after like 1 or 2 more. I do want to kind of try and be brave and flesh out the system a bit more. Lyra is a pain. I've had like seasoned engineers tell me they do not like working with Lyra and they fear it. So as a humble level designer that likes to work in Blueprint exclusively, that's a scary thing to hear. That's fine, that's fine. But I want to tweak the system so that ranged weapons don't do nearly as much damage. You have more health overall. You move a little bit slower. I don't think too slow though. I kind of scaled based on how fast you run anyway. And then I want to heavily increase melee and maybe even add melee weapons. I'm not sure how to go about that fully with the existing system, but it is something I want to explore at some point this year, probably in the later half of the year. Maybe even early next year, honestly, depending on how crazy I want to go with our, like, in October we do Blocktober, which is like level design Inktober. So I want to kind of actually remake our project from last year in Fortnite Creative, which was Oz Tycoon. Was actually my best map for the ones we did on Fortnite Creative. So I want to fully update that by the end of the year and give it some love. Coincidentally in the spooky season, and maybe aiming to release it right before Wicked Part 2 drops for no correlation whatsoever. But yeah, because of that, and because even though I want to do a quick Fortnite creative thing, and we want to take some time to play Fantasy Life, that kind of just gives us a small, like, few month window to maybe do either quickly gray box 2 more things, or maybe focus on what we already have and work on the system. So it kind of, I think it's something I'd have to investigate mostly off stream to see what we can handle. And then I wouldn't fully know until later. I saw a piece of something floating out here. You, what are you? Are you supposed to be here? Or are you this? It's not the spline. I think I must have just misclicked. Or maybe it was the spline tool? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Okay, it's not there in gameplay. The giant heal volume. I just set it to hidden in game. So the water's not that blue because it's not supposed to be that blue. But you can set some things hidden to game only. Okay, well next thing we're going to do is we're going to... Are all of these in block out? This one's in cover revision. Okay, the one up there is technically a revision. But everything else is block out. We are going to make our own little rock thingies to replace these. Because they're supposed to be rocks, like very circular rocks. We don't have those, but I think they'll still look better than whatever I've got going on. Yeah, they're very circular rocks in the picture. But like with the brown we chose for the block out material right now, they just kind of look like dookie statues. Every time I see them, I'm like, ah, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it looks amateurish, like dookie. So even though I'm not changing anything design-wise, this is not some immense feat of talent that I'm doing right here. It'll just look nicer if I stack. Maybe even I won't do 3, maybe I'll just do like 2. So we do want it to be a bit higher up though. Apply to all. Where are you? Do this. We will make this one a little snowman-y. Oh, it's looking better. It's looking better. My headset just screamed, please charge. It's been an hour, 12 minutes. I turned it on right before I went live. Maybe next Twitch payout I should invest in a better headset. Like it needs to be a light up one. I should also purge all my older headsets and like donate them because they're not fully broken. It's just I work with computers all day and it's kind of ridiculous the amount of headset nonsense I let myself put up with. Don't delete it. Let me make sure I got the... I remember the line of sight on this one was pretty important. I'm almost tempted to just do this. Almost tempted to just do it like that. Just a giant rock. I like that idea. I want to do another. In fact, I'm just gonna copy these over here. Sink it in right there. Oh, wait, I think it's actually this one's supposed to be right on the edge, if I remember. This. Okay, now give me this one. Give me the lad. This one's actually going to go into cover revisions because this piece of cover is not in the original map, but I felt like an extra piece of cover was needed up here. I'm even gonna expand it a little bit. Decide how I want this rock to look. I don't know how artists do it. I've just been spinning this rock around. I'm like, will you be okay like this? What the hell does a rock look like? Alright. Dookie pillars replaced with more rocks. Excellent, excellent. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do tonight in here? Oh, we can turn this middle platform into maybe... We can have small... Let's outline this with rocks too. I think I want to leave the center open for maybe a nice grass mesh or something. Not usually supposed to stretch them ununiformly, but I'm going to for you. This material actually, this is real nice work. Which pack? Is this in the medieval pack I got? This pack's been growing on me. I didn't fully understand how to use it at first, but now that I do, I'm like, this is a really good pack. Have that piece stood out there and then have another. Let's roll this. That. But jet to the side there. Give it a little more shape. Let me check the... Yeah, that's fine. And, oh, those pieces didn't need to go in cover revisions. Let me move them over. After that, we'll do another playtesting round, and that's probably where we'll call it for tonight. So like I said, just placing rocks, but nice to jump back into the level. And it's given me some ideas for how I want to art this up. So I think I'll make a list of like all the things I want to do and prioritize them across both maps over the next month and break them down into what I think would be best to do each week. But currently what I'm thinking is we'll actually like loop back to Forgotten City to art that up last. I kind of want to stick with this. If I can get a nice landscape thing going, I think the next step here is definitely figuring out the landscape. Either that or we could focus on just arting the tower up if we can find a nice material for it and if we want to like set dress around it a bit. I feel like logically swapping out the landscape makes the most sense next, but since I will still be like video editing throughout next week and still probably busy with work stuff, if I need a gentler week, we might just do like a debris pass or something. But yeah, order of operations. It's best to do that later. I forgot I turned this into a hot spring. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Past Emily, you killed it. That is not a hot spring in the original game, though the original game does have hot springs in the main campaign. Oh my gosh. It looks so much better with the rocks. Oh my god. Oh, we gotta go. Where is my teammate? Eee? My guns are full. Eee. Launch it. Oh my god, it just missed. Get to the hot spring. I just noticed my cat's sitting with me. I didn't even notice him jump up there. What the? How did he get up there? My little guy. I'll pan the camera to him in a moment because he's not going anywhere anytime soon, I'm sure. He just rediscovered that he has a cat tree next to me. I think for the first time this year. To be honest, he forgot. Sometimes he forgets he has like a favorite sleeping spot for a month. For like a month straight, and then he'll randomly remember and become obsessed with it for like a week or two. Oh my god. I hadn't seen any of them climb the tower yet. Oh, that's good, that's good. I'm telling you guys, as soon as I add melee weapons in here, then you'll see, then you'll see. I think a lot of times, it's good that I have so much like practice with realistic guns and stuff, but oh! And I like the fast-pacedness of Lyra, but like I worked on Wonderlands at one point, so a lot of times I'm like, I really like fast, like shiny, shooty shoot magic weapons. I also used to play a lot of D&D. If that didn't define it enough. We can come back, we can come back. Usually the nav bugs out at this point, but the enemies are moving around a lot better right now. I feel like we've been making slower revisions on this map compared to Forgotten City, but they feel like really solid improvements, even though they're minor. Get out of there, get out of there. Like, oh, did you see how we used the cover to take the tower to take cover? That's good stuff. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, boy? Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh! Never mess with me again. Don't ever mess with me again. At my level. My educational, again, Nintendo disclaimer, I'm not remaking this to make a profit or to even make a build at any point. I'm just studying the level design of these arenas. Nintendo, I may joke that I'll remake Kid Icarus Uprising first, but I'm really never going to. I guess it's kind of in the same vein of like people remaking like Ocarina. I know there's someone making Ocarina of Time in like Unreal Engine 5, and like the big highlight being, to the average person, the big highlight being the visuals. Same with like Mario 64 and Sunshine and stuff. But I'm always like, ooh, look how their hand, like I'm like, I can tell that was made in Sequencer. I can tell what asset kit like that's from. That's always the highlight to me with those, is being able to tell what was made in the engine. Where's the other? Oh, no! No, I blew myself up. I feel like my teammate's slacking. Actually, I might just hit tab. Oh, don't look at that. It's me that had the lowest amount. Anyway, well, that excellent improvements, everybody. Good job, good job. But yeah, I will take some screenshots of this and update it as our Blockout 2 pass. So yeah, I think we're pretty much complete. I might if I like, I don't think I have any plans with friends in the coming days. Sometimes like if we play a game together and we're like chatting afterwards, I will pull up this project and work on small things. So next time I have a free moment just to like chat and work on stuff, I might pull these all down to the ground level. To be honest, I just did it like this because like player view, they're not going to see the bottom of the edges really too much. And we could also do stuff like raise the outer terrain up or put like a fog volume there. And make like some sort of dark void below, which we probably should do to hint that it's not playable space and that it will kill you if you fall off the map anyway. But yeah, to make it look prettier in screenshots, I might lower those down into the ground a bit. But performance wise, right now what we have is absolutely fine. But I will take screenshots of those and I will add them onto our Miro as Blockout 2. Again, what I consider like in progress is basically just copy pasting from the paper design and keeping it very simplistic. A Blockout 1 I consider like the first walkable of the space, where it's a little more defined, but it's still just kind of the finished version of what you had in mind in the early concept. And then Blockout 2 is what I consider now, where the level's playable and you have like cover up, you have more defined blockout things. So I would say we've reached our Blockout 2 point here with this right now. But yeah, we will get back to Forgotten City sometime in the coming streams, but either if I have the energy and the resources, hopefully we do another landscape type stream next week. If not, if we need something just smaller, then we might just set dress around the spiral tower a bit more, and maybe set dress some of the cover areas and try to make some more destroyed fortress stuff. It makes more sense to do landscape first, but if I need to just place more stuff like we did today, but still make progress on the level, then that's the direction we'll take. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. I am just gonna wrap it up here so I can go ahead and just either sleep or play Split Fiction and then sleep. And probably eat a few sweets before bed as well. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for hanging out with the Mario Kart stuff and another eventful Inzoi stream as well. I am hoping to play Inzoi and Sims 4 more in the mornings now, so that way it really is like we are playing those games every week, but it doesn't detract from our weekend streams as we get into Switch 2 season here in the summer. Hopefully, if I can win the pre-order wars whenever they're set to start. But yeah, that is the plan. I have 2 more streams for you guys this weekend. Again, we're going to be jumping back into Elden Ring for hopefully like 4 to 5 hours tomorrow, and then similar 4 to 5 hours on Saturday. It will probably be mostly level grinding since I slacked the past month and didn't do any, but perhaps if that goes well, we will challenge a boss at the end of Saturday. Only one way to find out. But thank you guys again, and I will see you on the next one.